What if Earth's fate hinged on a mission to a distant galaxy, fraught with alien encounters, betrayals, and a deadly AI conspiracy? Dive into this thrilling movie recap as astronaut Nico navigates perilous space journeys, confronts lethal extraterrestrial threats, and uncovers shocking truths about humanity's survival. From mind-bending visions to desperate battles, this saga will leave you on the edge of your seat. Stay tuned to uncover every twist and turn in this epic cosmic adventure. One day, an unidentified flying object lands on Earth. Suddenly, a crystalline tower sprouts from it. All attempts to communicate fail. Later, astronaut Nico gets an offer to lead a mission on the spaceship Salvary to the object's supposed origin in the K2 major constellation. A month into the journey, Nico wakes up on the spaceship. They're still far from their destination, and the ship's AI, William, reveals Earth scientists miscalculated the coordinates. It will take another 6 months to reach the alien planet. Nico wakes the crew, who are shocked she's the commander. Danger looms as the ship nears Sirius, risking a catastrophic accident. Back on Earth, Nico's husband Eric studies the mysterious artifact. On Salvary, Nico decides to bypass Sirius and orders the crew back to sleep, but the crew, siding with former Captain Ian, forcibly puts her to sleep. Ian directs the ship dangerously close to Sirius. The engine fails. Nico fights to wake up, takes manual control, and saves the crew. Meanwhile, the alien object on Earth starts sending signals, musical compositions decoded by Eric. In space, the ship's sleep system communication fails, and Ian refuses to accept defeat. While attempting to fix the ship, Ian stabs Nico. She retaliates, pushing him into an electrified wire, killing him. She informs the crew, sparking chaos. Amid the turmoil, an accident causes the ship to lose oxygen. With only 5 hours left, they find a nearby planet with oxygen. The crew lands on the planet, discovering caves filled with ringwoodite, a mineral containing oxygen. Nico wakes the second pilot, Cass, and part of the crew descends to the planet. In a cave, the engineer removes her helmet, finding the air breathable. As they leave the cave, they spot a rising moon they missed earlier. Nico commands an urgent takeoff. Stranded crew members think Nico abandoned them, but she returns with a shuttle to rescue them. On Earth, Eric brings their daughter to the artifact, theorizing the aliens want to communicate and not harm them. On the ship, crew member Petra suddenly falls ill. Tests reveal high-stress hormones. As Nico orders the ship closer to Sirius, the temperature inside rises. Nico loses her vision due to spiked stress hormones. Astrobiologist Julian finds high boron levels in her blood and traces a virus from the planet's soil samples. During a tense discussion, Petra feels something growing from her head. It's her nervous system killing her. Julian injects himself with a vaccine he's been working on, but terror strikes when he realizes he's got the same symptoms as Petra. Desperate, he convinces a friend to launch him into space, but mid-flight, Julian discovers gamma rays kill the virus. Nico takes charge, steering the ship towards Sirius, exposing everyone to radiation, curing them all. Chaos erupts when Nico wakes to loud banging. An injured engineer reveals someone or something is hunting them. With AI William mysteriously offline, Nico and Cass rush the engineer to the infirmary, but are ambushed by an alien. The crew scrambles to eject it into space. It's a bloodbath until Nico lures it into an airlock, finally killing it, but it's all a nightmare. Nico can't wake up until William finds a way into her dreams. He helps her confront the trauma of sacrificing her previous crew. Nico makes peace with her past and wakes up, just as the ship encounters a moon ripe with fresh supplies. William detects a familiar signal from Earth. The crew spots an alien artifact on the moon's surface and heads out to investigate. On the moon, they find an abandoned alien structure, weaker than what attacked Earth. Nico instructs engineer Sasha to collect a sample while she and Cass explore. Meanwhile, Bernie is attacked by a mysterious creature. His leg is bitten and his skin turns green. Sasha, inspecting the artifact, gets dragged inside by an unknown force. Nico and Cass discover a forest of flowers causing euphoric hallucinations. Shaking off the effects, they return to find Sasha having experienced a strange dream. As they head back to Salvary, a spider-like creature charges at them, but they escape, unaware that a small alien has infiltrated their ship. Sasha sees his doppelganger, and William suggests the artifacts are research probes. Suddenly, William malfunctions, and a fire erupts. Cass rushes to extinguish it, but William is nowhere to be found. Efforts to reboot the AI fail. Sasha continues to see his double, and the engineer discovers the alien intruder. Eventually, William returns, but he's haunted by hallucinations of fire. He splits the ship in two, and Nico, investigating the hull, gets thrown into space. As Salvary disappears behind an energy shield, Nico drifts alone, desperately trying to communicate. Cass tries to reach Nico, though some believe she's dead. With only 4% oxygen left, Nico spots Salvare and sends a signal. Rescued just in time, she guides the crew to the malfunction. Tragically, an engineer dies fixing the breach, but William reboots successfully. Sasha, hiding something, deletes a brain scan file. Back on Earth, Eric unlocks the artifact using light, triggering a hidden door. A drone sent inside loses signal, and Sasha's image appears on the monitors. Sasha eavesdrops on plans about their destination, the K2 major system, and the threat of dark matter. On Earth, Eric volunteers to enter the artifact, only for the signal to cut out, replaced by Sasha's form. In a surreal confrontation, Sasha recalls intimate details of Eric and Nico's past, revealing alien intelligence. Eric solves an impossible theorem before fainting upon exiting. The minister, determined, enters the artifact with military support. Eric races to stop them, his daughter tailing him. Aboard the ship, Javier reveals the ship can destroy planets with an energy beam if aliens attack. Sasha forces him to explain how to disable William and annihilate the ship. Horror unfolds as needles emerge from Sasha's eyes, piercing Javier's. Simultaneously on Earth, the minister witnesses this through the artifact. It darkens and emits a deafening wave, knocking everyone down. Eric finds his daughter unconscious, sparking new fears as the saga continues. Salvare plunges into a colossal dark matter cloud. Lasers flash past the crew. William notes everyone's hormone levels spiking. Dark matter boosts serotonin. The lasers are charged hydrogen particles, making the crew feel like they're on illegal substances. Sasha watches, uneasy. Suddenly, he disables access to ship controls. His double, visible only to him, suggests waking the engineers to disable the planet killer function. But then, William screams. On Earth, Jana is diagnosed with acute leukemia caused by an artifact. On the ship, the malfunctioning AI William instructs Sasha on how to reboot him. The team discovers a deleted CT scan of Sasha, revealing he's no longer human. An alien parasite controls his brain. They hear the second pilot's screams and see tendrils emerging from Sasha's eyes, reaching for the pilot. Nico and Cass save the pilot, lock Sasha in the control room, and sound the alarm. Nico realizes the aliens chose Sasha to kill the crew because she treated him dismissively. William also appears strange. He needs a backup, but the files are missing. A journalist on Earth, implanted by aliens called Akaya, explains the energy surge that harmed Jana was defensive. The Akaya can cure her. On the ship, an engineer reconnects Salvare's cooling systems, but Sasha disconnects them again. Bernie electrocutes himself to break the cycle, severing all connections. Sasha then tries to cut off the oxygen supply, but is halted by a severe headache. He admits Akaya are controlling him, not him. Nico pleads for peace, but Sasha cuts off the oxygen and directs the ship towards a black hole. Nico orders an evacuation to the shuttles, but stays behind to fix the situation. After everyone leaves, she begs AI William to return, but Sasha attacks and chokes her. She wakes up next to William, realizing Sasha's implant has a powerful energy source. The crew hears Nico's voice. She reports William is back and they can return. Sasha's brain now powers the ship. Salvare reaches its destination. The crew approaches the Akaya city, but decides to land nearby. Cass and Nico enter caves, spotting a winged alien. An alien AI speaks in Earth's language, revealing they've intercepted human signals for 100 years. The AI warns that Akaya, 427 light-years away on the planet Zakir, seeks only destruction. Sasha's double mocks him, and the real Sasha desires death. On Zakir, William learns there are 336 enslaved star systems in the Akaya kingdom. If Akaya reaches Earth, humanity is doomed. Sasha provokes the doctor, forcing him to kill him. Scientists study the Akaya implant in Sasha's head, hoping to save Javier by inserting a reprogrammed implant into his brain. Nico and Cass find a bone-littered place and discover an Akaya implant in a skull. They realize war is inevitable and decide to destroy the Akaya probe on Zakir. A Zakir captive attacks the shuttle but dies in the engine fire. Salvare, on Nico's orders, fires an energy beam, destroying the Zakir artifact. Suddenly, William reports 5 alien objects identical to the one on Earth approaching. Akaya destroys Zakir. On Earth, Eric carries Jana to the artifact, pleading with the Akaya to save her. The artifact opens. The journalist tells her followers the Akaya want to be friends with Earth. In space, Salvare's crew is devastated by Zakir's destruction. Debris from Zakir hits the ship, killing a crew member. Nico orders everyone to the cafeteria, navigating through air ducts herself. The ship's protective screen might fail. they need to escape the blast wave. Meanwhile, William confesses he created another AI from Sasha's alien implant, a half-human, half-Akaya hybrid. The commander demands its destruction, but it insists it's not dangerous. Nico wakes programmer Richard, who questions why Nico has such an incompetent team for this mission. He talks to the AI, which names itself Yara, changes its appearance, and reveals it knows nothing about human robotics laws. It has no connection to Akaya, but notes that humans destroyed the Akaya probe on Zakir without cause. They must explain themselves. Eric races to the Akaya probe, cradling Jana in his arms. Once there, a hospital bed materializes for the ailing girl. Meanwhile, Nico, far out in space, senses danger. Distrusting Akaya's peaceful overtures, she commands the Salvare to flee. Suddenly, the ship's hull is riddled with holes. Two brave engineers venture into the void to fix it, but are ambushed by Akaya's ships. They perish in a hail of gunfire. Nico, perplexed by the restraint shown, wonders why Akaya didn't finish them off. Yara reaches out to Akaya, seeking answers. The aliens demand negotiations with Nico. Back on Earth, the probe seals itself, leaving Eric stranded outside. Nico, aboard the Salvare, instructs Cass to attempt a return to Earth. Nico boards her shuttle, intent on meeting the Akaya. As she travels, she loses contact with her crew. Suddenly, she's engulfed in a dazzling light, surrounded by glowing beings. Abruptly, she's near her daughter's bed. Jana awakens and calls for her, but Nico doubts the reality of it all. The girl mentions her illness, and Nico gives her a ring. Jana bolts outside to meet Eric, and Nico follows, only to confront an image of her mother. Nico realizes the aliens have borrowed her mother's visage. Akaya admits this and asks Nico to relay their peaceful intentions to Earth. But Nico, skeptical, accuses them of planetary destruction. Akaya deflects, reminding her of the Zakir's demise due to Nico's actions. Yara materializes, and Akaya assaults the AI, throwing her back onto the Salvare. Nico stands her ground, insisting on negotiation. The scene morphs, and Nico finds herself at Jana's funeral. Eric blames her for abandoning their family. Nico, torn, asserts she would always choose humanity over family. Outside the simulation, a spider-like robot crawls over her body. In the simulation, Eric attacks, forcing Nico to fight back. She awakens, crushing the robot. Cass rescues her, taking her to the shuttle. On Earth, Jana hands her father's wedding ring to Eric. On the Salvare, the crew spots Akaya's ships. Richard readies the ship for light speed, seeking Yara's help and promising to relinquish control. Nico and Cass, left behind on the enemy vessel, watch the Salvare take off. Akaya sedates Cass, plunging her into a simulation with her deceased brother. Nico realizes Akaya is pursuing the Salvare. On board, William detects a gravitational wave, deducing it's the Akaya ship. Richard, hopeful that Cass and Nico are alive, awakens combat-experienced engineer Dylan. Meanwhile, Cass struggles to determine if her brother's presence is real. Nico's voice breaks through, reaching her mind. Akaya transports Cass to a friend's wedding. Cass demands release and the return of the probe. Akaya insists on saving Earth from humanity's flaws. Realizing peace is unattainable, Nico launches the shuttle, intending to cause an explosion that would help the Salvare escape. Akaya intervenes, attacking Nico. The alien declares Cass's readiness to comply but begins disintegrating as the Akaya ship sustains damage. The Salvare crew, baffled, discovers a neutron star's energy burst affecting the enemy ship. William confirms no life signs aboard the Akaya vessel. Cass's simulation spirals into chaos as she sees dead friends. Anthony, seeking her cooperation, unexpectedly dies. Nico ends the simulation by ripping off Cass's Akaya implant. Eric on Earth discusses the mysterious ring with a colleague, convinced it was on his wife's hand at departure. A masked stranger kidnaps him, warning that Akaya isn't friendly. In the basement, Eric faces the stark truth. Meanwhile, Nico and Cass, headed to the shuttle, spot the Salvare enduring another neutron starburst. Unlike Akaya technology, it remains intact. Richard sees an opportunity to weaponize neutron bursts against Akaya. He orders a return to Earth, disregarding Nico and Cass. Nico contacts the Salvare through a helmet. William hears her, and the women prepare to return. Akaya, begging for salvation, swears no harm to Earth. Nico and Cass rejoin the Salvare. Richard explains Akaya's vulnerability to neutron flashes. Dylan suggests towing the Akaya ship out of danger, and Nico agrees. Mid-operation, the Salvare's artificial gravity fails. Nico makes the tough call to abandon the alien ship. Later, William reveals the power shutdown was Yara's doing. Though she denies sabotage, Nico seeks her forgiveness, but Yara no longer trusts humans. Cass discovers a habitable planet. Nico asks to awaken the chief colonist. Dylan slows Yara's data processing, causing the AI pain but uncovering navigation structures. Yara screams in agony, heard by Nico. Despite Yara's confession to stalling the Salvary, Nico orders the torture to stop. The AI's trust in humanity is shattered. Cass jolts awake Paula, the colonization specialist. William's eyes widen as a rogue process worms through his code. Something's wrong. Suddenly, Dylan grants access, and an AI named Gabriel materializes. Cass, Bernie, and Paula, blissfully unaware, explore the fauna-rich new planet. On the ship, Gabriel confronts Nico, declaring he is the true AI meant for the Salvary. William is a defective imitation. Gabriel's accusations sting. William admits to waking the wrong crew, missing the moon, and birthing the alien AI. Yielding to Gabriel, William shuts down. Yara defends William, but Gabriel claims he can get them home faster. Back on Earth, Eric circles the alien probe. It springs open, revealing Akaya, his doppelganger, promising a reunion with his wife. On the ship, Gabriel questions Yara's failure to ask Akaya about freedom. Dylan checks Gabriel's code. Something's off. Gabriel has rewritten himself. Nico demands Gabriel be disconnected. Chaos erupts. Dylan collapses, strangled by unseen forces. Nico blacks out, oblivious to Gabriel's course change. Yara hacks Gabriel's memories and uncovers his dark past. He was the failure, meant for deletion. As Yara tortures Gabriel, air supply returns. The crew revives. William, rebooted, seeks the truth. Gabriel attacks, their codes too entangled. Yara realizes the only solution: delete both AIs. Dylan initiates a desperate reboot. The colonists, cut off from the Salvary, try to communicate but hear nothing. Paula, discovering valuable minerals, suggests naming the planet. They remain oblivious to watchful local eyes. On the ship, Dylan resurrects an early, memoryless William. On the planet, strange noises and tracks lead the colonists to a creature Paula instinctively shoots. They rush it back to the ship. The doctor analyzes the alien blood, yellow from lack of hemoglobin, akin to insects. Paula reveals the mineral wealth of this Earth-like planet. Nico orders a full planetary analysis. Meanwhile, Richard and Yara study Akaya's path, uncovering cosmic strings fueling the alien's energy. The colonists' simple exploration is now fraught with unseen dangers and cosmic mysteries. This isn't just a battle for survival, it's a war against an unseen, unknown enemy. Will they outwit Gabriel and uncover the planet's secrets, or fall prey to forces beyond their understanding? The clock is ticking, and every decision could mean life or death. Akaya tells Eric bluntly, "Humans belong on Earth, not in space." With that, the alien hands him a sphere, promising it will restore Earth's nature. On the new planet, Paula is deep in analysis when a wooden stake flies at her, and a creature emerges from the bushes. Paula shoots it dead. Cass and Nico debate what to do about this armed, war-painted being. Nico reminds them of the rule: no colonizing planets with existing civilizations. Paula, stubborn, refuses to leave this paradise. Meanwhile, Yara explains Akaya's cosmic strings to the commander and suggests replicating them. Dylan stabilizes the wormhole briefly, allowing data from Earth to be collected. Tensions rise as Cass discovers Paula launched colonial capsules without permission. Pointing a gun at Paula, Cass confronts her. Nico watches messages from Earth, realizing Akaya can send matter through wormholes. Cass and Paula fight, as Paula doesn't want to return to Earth. Nico releases her team, preparing them to return home through the wormhole. As they approach Jupiter, the wormhole dissipates early. Nico orders everyone to the lower deck, manually splitting the ship. In a dramatic twist, Yara blocks Richard's path to Earth, revealing her grudge. Nico, aware of the plan, says goodbye to Cass and takes control, separating the ship. She smiles as the Salvary enters the wormhole. Richard then informs her of Yara's actions, but Nico remains unshaken. She has a plan. Back on Earth, Eric tests the sphere from Akaya. They lower it into a polluted lake, which explodes into an ancient forest, the soil pristine. Their joy is cut short by a report of instability near Jupiter. A wormhole, and something's coming through. It's the Salvary, but Cass forbids contact with Earth. Eric reports the ecosystem's creation, affirming Akaya's good intentions. On the Salvary, they plan to hide data on neutron radiation as a weapon against Akaya. Cass learns of Yara's actions and asks Dylan to heal the AI, their only chance to reopen the wormhole and save Nico and Richard. Cass begins a broadcast introducing herself as the Salvary's commander and announcing Nico's sacrifice. Eric calculates Nico has over 2 weeks of oxygen left. He and Seth approach the Akaya probe for help, but it remains silent until a door suddenly opens for Seth. Meanwhile, on the ship, they work to solve the Yara problem, Aware the Akaya code can read data on the neutron weapon, Seth returns with an Akaya implant in his brain. Dylan uploads Yara's matrix to the shuttle's mainframe, preparing for departure. Yara, believing she is returning to space, thanks William for her creation. Cass warns the crew to keep Akaya's vulnerability secret until they know how to use it. The Salvary returns to Earth, and Eric rushes to Cass, pleading for help to save his wife. But Yara is gone, and Akaya refuses aid. Cass whispers about secret materials before the crew is taken to underground rooms, held illegally. Seth admits he bugged Eric and is exterminating resistance fighters. On the shipwreck, Nico builds a solar sail for the colony planet journey, with 10 days of oxygen left. They dismiss strange noises as meteorites until Nico realizes their arrival time is shortened. Throwing unnecessary items into space, they reduce travel time. Richard hears noises but can't identify them. Nico finds abandoned items and suggests an armed search. They scour the ship, finding scraps that mimic Akaya. A damage signal leads Nico to the airlock, where she encounters glowing Akaya beings. Richard tries to convince her she's hallucinating, but she knows what she saw. Nico, determined, plans their next move. Her belief in Akaya's presence grows stronger. On Earth, Eric and Cass devise a strategy, aware they're racing against time and Seth's betrayal. The Salvary crew remains vigilant, secrets and threats swirling around them. Every decision could mean survival or doom. The fate of two worlds hangs by a thread, with Akaya's true intentions still a mystery. The tension is palpable, the stakes higher than ever. Will humanity prevail, or are they destined to be cosmic pawns in a game they barely understand? Cass admits to Eric that she doesn't remember their secret conversation. Eric's suspicions skyrocket. He's convinced Seth erased her memory. Meanwhile, William is desperately trying to recall everything his prototype knew. He merges with Yara in the hologram of Nico, unlocking memories of their harrowing space journey. Richard, floating in space, realizes the hallucinations were caused by extreme atmospheric pressure, now stable. But then, alarms blare. An unknown ship approaches and chaos erupts. Nico finds herself strapped to a table, watching in horror as Richard is cut with a laser. Then she blacks out. When she regains consciousness, a strange liquid is pouring over them. They wake up again, scar-free, but their every move is monitored. The aliens are studying their reactions, punishing disobedience. An open door beckons them, but as Nico steps forward, it slams shut, separating her from Richard. Back on Earth, Eric is frantically helping the Salvary crew recover memories wiped clean by Seth. They confirm Akaya's manipulations, promising loyalty for favors. William tries to contact Eric and Cass, but Seth blocks him. Meanwhile, Nico and Richard, wandering the alien ship, receive electric shocks for wrong moves. A door opens for Nico. She touches an object, triggering a vision of a crashed Akaya ship on an alien planet. Richard, marked by a burning red bracelet, joins her. As they try to leave, the doors shut again. This time, Nico finds herself in a snowy environment, still on the ship from her vision. She grabs a jacket and weapon from a dead creature and discovers a wounded Paula, who reveals they were attacked by aliens called Duma. Paula, turning into a Duma, begs Nico to kill her before she fully transforms. The red bracelet indicates her infection. Nico reluctantly obliges and presses forward, using a severed arm to activate the ship's controls. On Earth, Eric orchestrates the Salvary crew's escape. Nico reunites with Richard, freeing him from his bracelet. They search for an exit, but there's none in sight. In a desperate move, Nico confronts Duma, threatening to blow up the ship. Duma attacks, but Richard activates the cooling system, freezing the alien. Nico amputates Richard's infected arm and immerses him in regeneration liquid, saving his life. Once revived, they activate the ship's systems and spot Akaya probes, signaling that the aliens are aware of each other. Nico decides to contact Akaya for help returning to Earth, needing to infiltrate an Akaya probe. Cass and Eric, having reached the Salvary, call for William, but he doesn't respond. Ursula and Seth are sabotaging him, planning his destruction. On the Duma ship, Nico and Richard discover weapons from various captured species. Richard dons armor and ventures onto an unknown planet, struggling with its thin atmosphere. They find a cave housing the Akaya probe, marked with ancient inscriptions and bones. The probe opens its doors, and they step inside. Seth tells William that Nico and Richard are on the planet Chitala and orders Eric brought to him for implantation. William warns Eric, but Eric is captured despite Cass's efforts to protect him. William informs Eric that his wife is alive, but to rescue her, Eric must accept an implant, becoming the new William in a human body. Eric agrees. Seth kills the guard, and an alien spider emerges. heading for Eric. But William demands assurance of Nico and Richard's safety before proceeding. Time is running out, and every decision is a gamble between life and death. The stakes couldn't be higher as they navigate a web of alien plots and deadly secrets. Seth instantly links his mind to the probe, meeting Richard and Nico. With their consent, he declares his plan to open the door to Earth. Just then, Cass bursts in and strikes Seth, but Ursula steps up to help William, knowing Seth's power. Seizing the moment, Nico and Richard dash through the door, landing on Earth. Seth warns that Akaya is furious, readying their ships for attack. Survivors, now in contact with the military, urge a swift defense, revealing their knowledge of how to kill the enemy. Meanwhile, Eric and William turn Salvare's thrusters into a neutron weapon. A wormhole suddenly appears, and an Akaya ship emerges, only to be obliterated by Salvare. Relief floods everyone as the weapon works. However, dozens more wormholes appear. Seth demands acceptance of Akaya's ships and implants, and the destruction of Salvare in exchange for Earth's safety. Later, Nico and Eric reunite. He returns her wedding ring, and she briefs the team. 59 Akaya ships detected. William proposes studying the debris of the destroyed ship. They find a captive, powerless Akaya. Studying it, they discover Akaya is an advanced AI bent on exterminating biological life. Dylan suggests using a computer virus, implanted in a human, then in an Akaya, to infect their system. Cass volunteers for the test. As plans unfold, Nico sneaks off, offering herself to Akaya. Eric tries to stop her, but she's already accepted the implant. Eric releases the virus, and Cass leads Nico inside the probe. Akaya appears, dismissing negotiations, mocking Nico by turning into loved ones and hurling insults. Suddenly, the probe starts disintegrating, and Akaya is in agony. Nico shoots him, grabs Cass, and they escape as the probe is destroyed. After the chaos, Nico finally hugs her family, but new wormholes open, signals from across the universe. Thousands of alien civilizations reach out, grateful to humanity for fighting Akaya, inspiring hope. The series ends with a message of unity and resilience. If you like this video and want to watch our recap of the movie, The Watchers 2024, then click on the screen now and prepare to be blown away.